Welcome to the lecture series in computer science. We are seeing a series of lectures in the subject Agile methodologies. We will be seeing a topic on the managing software knowledge. So, the contents of today's session are: we will be seeing what is a knowledge and how to manage the knowledge. We will be seeing it as the knowledge management in general, and then we will be seeing the drivers of knowledge management, and then the need for the knowledge management processes, and we will be seeing the constituents present in the knowledge management, and then we will be seeing the benefits of knowledge management. As well, we will be seeing the challenges and obstacles that are prevalent in the knowledge management, and then we will be seeing about the knowledge management processes, and then we will be finalizing it with the knowledge management approaches. Now, what is a knowledge management? A knowledge management is a set or organizational processes that create and transfer knowledge, supporting the attainment of academic and organizational goals. It is exclusively with respect to capturing, distilling, and systematically organizing knowledge and experience gained from staff, clients, or the customers and development partners, making this knowledge, best practices, and lessons learned readily accessible to a wide audience internally and externally. Now, let us see the different drivers that make the knowledge into a manageable thing. So, the knowledge management drivers are globalization, technological advances, information explosion, and knowledge. Now, let us view the need for the knowledge management. The greater opportunities for collaboration and easier access to relevant authoritative information when and where it is needed, better access to expertise, earlier discovery leading to innovation and research, better learning experiences, greater reuse of information and knowledge, competitive advantage. My dear viewers, by the term knowledge management, we can infer we might be knowing what a knowledge is, because each and everyone, when we read something, when we read the text, we will be acquiring something. So, we will be gaining some knowledge, we will be gaining some insight, but after gaining the insight, we need to know how to manage such knowledge. So, that speaks about this need for the knowledge management. Now, let us see how the knowledge is obtained, from what are the resources from where we could obtain the knowledge. So, the knowledge is obtained from the published information. As I said, when you could read various textbooks, you can get as many information as possible, and that gets stored in your mind, and you can apply it when and where it is required. So, that is what the published information speaks about. Then we can obtain knowledge from the websites, we can obtain knowledge from the laboratory notebooks, we can obtain knowledge from the compact disc CDs and DVDs and Blu-ray discs, the normal discs, and then we can get knowledge from the archives. We can get knowledge from the published resources such as thesis, the PhD thesis, the research work thesis, the MPhil thesis, the MS thesis. So, wherever it has been written as a thesis, you can gather knowledge, and then knowledge can be obtained from the conference papers and from the reports, the ordinary UG and PG level project reports. Anywhere and everywhere you can infer knowledge. Wherever you read something, you get some valid points and you store it in a memory. So, knowledge can be obtained from the reports, knowledge can be obtained through the media files. My dear viewers, it is a very important examination point of view question, from where the knowledge could be obtained. So, it can act as a 2-mark question too. So, out of these many points, it is better you could at least write a minimum of 4 points. So, I will repeat: it is published information, websites, laboratory notebooks, discs, archives, thesis, conference papers, reports, and the media files. Now, let us see the constituents of knowledge management. It is again one of the important question as far as the examination point of view is concerned. So, it deals with the intellectual capital and constructs. What do you mean by intellectual? What is an intellectual material? An intellectual material that has been formalized, captured, and leveraged to produce a higher value asset. What are the constructs that are prevalent as far as this knowledge management constituents are concerned? The constructs are 1. Human capital, 2. Structural capital, 3. Customer capital. So, this is an important terminology. What is a human capital? What do you mean with structural capital? What is a customer capital? So, all these three factors come under the constructs. The constructs are part of the knowledge management constituents. Now, let us see some of the benefits that are available from the knowledge management. Some of the benefits are improved organizational agility, better and faster decision making, quicker problem solving, increased rate of innovation, supported employee growth and development, sharing of specialist expertise, better communication, improved business processes. So, these are some of the benefits that are available for the knowledge management. Now, let us see the challenges and obstacles of knowledge management. My dear viewers, in a subject called software engineering, you would have studied or you would have learnt about a topic called as W5HH principle. What does it mean? What does a W5HH principle denote? W denotes, which means you have 5 W's and 2 H. The first W denotes who, the second W denotes what, the third W denotes where, fourth W denotes why, fifth W denotes when. After completing the 5 W's, you have 2 H. The first H denotes how, the second H denotes how much. So, here similarly, as you had seen this in the software engineering, as it is one of the important principle which is called as a W5HH principle, we are going to implement the same old W5HH principle in our challenges, in our knowledge management, and we will see to that how the challenges and the obstacles are being determined. Now, as a first W, it is who. In who, we have the staff buy-in. Staff buy-in is nothing but how are the staff have been employed and what sort of knowledge each and every individual has, or what sort of knowledge the employee possesses. So, that denotes the staff buy-in. Then what? Next is what? It distinguishes between the information and the knowledge. My dear viewers, in a subject called database management system, you would have determined or you would have studied a topic called, or you would have studied a difference between, a basic difference between a data and an information. A data is a raw fact, and information is nothing but a processed data, a refined data. You call it as an information. So, the same information is the refined data or the processed data, we call it as an information. And knowledge, we were saying about this knowledge from the very beginning of this session. So, the differences between an information and knowledge speaks about the what part, speaks about the challenges in the knowledge management. Then where can we get the knowledge, where can we find the knowledge? As I said in the earlier slide, we can get the knowledge from the published informations, from the thesis, from the reports, from the archives. Wherever you learn, you get such knowledge. Then the why part, defining and achieving the goals of knowledge management. First of all, in order to manage a knowledge, you need to define, you need to check whether the defined thing is correct or not, whether you are in the right way. So, you need to set your goal in such a way to achieve, and you need to focus on the goal. One and only when a person focuses on the goal, he will be in a position to achieve the goal of the knowledge management. Then let us now deal with the how part. Finding the right technology that is to be used. See, as far as the software development is concerned, you will be having n number of technology that is available, n number of techniques and technology that is available, but it is the Scrum Master. My dear viewers, the Scrum Master, we have seen this when we worked with the Scrum framework. Scrum framework is one of the Agile framework. When we worked with the extreme programming XP methodology, extreme programming, we saw a person called as Agile coach, but when the same person works with Scrum, he is termed as a Scrum Master. So, it is the responsibility of the Scrum Master to find out the right technology that is to be used. So, wherein this speaks about the how. So, how this particular person is going to use the technology for obtaining the knowledge, for managing the knowledge. Then finally, we will be seeing about the lack of resources. As far as the lack of resources is concerned, in a project, when does a project get failed? When you do not have sufficient resources, or when the resources are not being paid properly. This speaks about how much. How much is nothing but the lack of resources over here. How much an employee need to get paid, for which if I want to pay an employee, do I have sufficient funds? Does my organization support for funding? So, such funding, the people, identification of skilled resources, we might be getting people, we might be getting employees, but the skill matters a lot. So, identification of skilled person, the people factor, and the funding resources, and the technology, whether technology is available to do the project, and the learning tools, whether proper learning tools are available to implement a project successfully, and whether the employee, if employed, will he be able to learn the technology, will he be in a position to adopt working in the particular tool, can he be in a position to manage the tool, and in return will he be in a position to manage the knowledge. So, these are some of the challenges and obstacles of knowledge management. Now, let us see the knowledge management process. The knowledge management is the process of creating, sharing, using and managing the knowledge and information of an organization. It refers to a multidisciplinary approach to achieve organizational objectives by making the best use of knowledge. Knowledge management is an enabler of organizational learning. My dear viewers, the definition of knowledge management is a pretty important examination point of view question. Here it is. Knowledge management is the process of creating, sharing, using and managing the knowledge and information of an organization. And then let us see some of the activities that are performed in the knowledge management. As far as the activity is concerned, it is broadly classified into three groups. One is called as the efficiency, second one is the synergy, the way the knowledge is being acquired, the way the knowledge is being managed is being focused under the synergy. The third is called the innovation part. So, now let us see the first part as the efficiency. It is one of the activity. As far as efficiency is concerned, when you want to obtain the knowledge, when you want to manage the knowledge, you need to have a background. When you want to work on, when you want to do a project, you need to have a dream. You need to have the backup resources. You need to do a background work before starting any work. Before obtaining a knowledge, you need to learn something. You need to learn from the books, published resources available, published materials available. So that finds the background. Now for which, what is the synergy relevant to it? It is the lessons learned. What sort of lessons? How you are going to learn the lessons? The lessons learned. Now what is an innovation? What is that activity? You would have gathered some knowledge based on the background materials available. You should have learned certain lessons, but how you are going to implement it is said to be innovation. What sort of innovative approach that you are going to carry out? My dear viewers, I will give you a generic example. In age old days, we had a sort of rock grinding machine, and then we had the electric grinders. It becomes a creation. Then we got the wet grinders. Then that is again a creation. Wherein then we got the tilting wet grinder. The grinder by itself will get tilted, and the flour will be in a position to easily take out the flour from the machine. So that becomes an innovation. The wet grinder may be a creation, but the tilting grinder, how you are going to use it, how you are going to use the knowledge, how you are going to use the work, established work in a different way, in a unique way, in an innovative way, that becomes innovation. That becomes an application. So innovative application. The second efficiency part is the documents. As far as the documents is concerned, the synergy is concerned, it deals with the frequently asked questions. And as far as the innovative part is concerned, from the frequently asked question, how you can change the question, how innovatively you can ask the question, that becomes an innovation. Third one is about the conference. As far as the conference is concerned, you have the team rooms, and as far as the innovative work is concerned, it deals with the communities. What sort of community you have, in which community you work on, you indulge in order to get the knowledge, in order to acquire the knowledge, in order to manage the knowledge effectively. Then the final fourth one is about the internal communications. As we have seen, this is part of the conference. So the internal communications. So the synergy deals with the forum. Then next is, let us see the approaches to knowledge management. In the earlier slide, we are saying about the activities for knowledge management. Now let us see the approaches to the knowledge management. The knowledge management strategy. The first strategy is, it deals with the people to the document system. The person, whatever he reads from the textbooks, from the published works, so that becomes the people to the document system that codifies, stores, disseminates and allows reuse of knowledge. Then in which, in the knowledge management strategy, it is classified into two types. One is called the technology, second one is the mechanism. As far as the technology is concerned, investing in information technology with a goal of connecting people with reusable codified knowledge. As far as the mechanism is concerned, the data warehousing and the data mining, knowledge mapping, electronic libraries, tacit channel individual expertise to provide creativity on strategic problems. What do you mean by tacit knowledge? The knowledge that we get through experiences, that we get through practice. So this is one of the KM strategy, and this is an approach between the people to the documenting system. Now let us see the second approach of knowledge management. It is between person to person communication, person to person approach, developing the networks for linking people so that tacit knowledge can be shared. Tacit knowledge is, you will be getting the knowledge based on the work experience, and based on the knowledge that you acquired, you share the knowledge to others. So that is called as knowledge sharing, that is called as knowledge transfer. So here again, in the technology means it is about investing moderately in the information technology with a goal of facilitating conversations and the exchange of tacit knowledge. The mechanisms adopted in this kind of approaches: learning the past, learning the historical facts, histories, and storytelling. When you learn something, how you are going to share, how you are going to express it to others, it is by means of storytelling. So these are some of the approaches to knowledge management. Now let us see how to classify the knowledge development, and we will be seeing what is a knowledge acquisition. So what is knowledge development? Knowledge is developed through learning, innovation, creativity, and importation from worldly experience, from the practical experiences. Then what is a knowledge acquisition? The knowledge is captured and retained for use and for further treatment. Now let us see what is a knowledge refinement. So we have developed, we have acquiesced, and then we are going to refine. We are going to see knowledge refinement. So knowledge is organized, transformed, or included in the written material, knowledge bases, and so on, to make it available to be useful. Now let us classify the knowledge distribution and knowledge leveraging. The knowledge distribution and development: the knowledge is distributed to points of action, which is in short called as the POAs, through education, training programs, automated knowledge based system, expert networks, people, practices embedded in technology and procedures. The knowledge leveraging: what is the knowledge leveraging? The knowledge is applied or otherwise leveraged. Applying is nothing but leveraging. By using, which means by applying knowledge, it becomes the basis for further learning and the innovation as explained by other mechanisms. So this is how the knowledge is being classified. So as we have seen about what knowledge is and how it has been managed, and then how do we get the knowledge acquisition, and then how to refine the knowledge, and what is the knowledge distribution, what is knowledge leveraging, are all common questions that can be posed as far as the examination point of view is concerned. So my dear viewers, I suppose you will be clear with what knowledge is and what is a knowledge process and how to manage this knowledge. Now let us summarize this session by saying we have seen about what a knowledge is and how do you manage this knowledge. We saw the different drivers that are available for the knowledge management. We as well saw the need for the knowledge management processes, and then we saw about the knowledge management constituents. As well, we saw three different constructs in the knowledge management constituents, and I said the constructs and the knowledge management constituents are highly important interview point of a question, as well it is an important examination point of a question. And then we saw some of the benefits of the knowledge management. We saw the challenges and the obstacles that are available. We saw the various challenges and the obstacles that acted as an hindrance in managing the knowledge. We saw about the various knowledge management processes, and we saw some of the activities of the knowledge management. As well, we saw about the knowledge management approaches. Then we classified the knowledge into the knowledge acquisition, knowledge refinement, and then we winded off with by seeing the knowledge distribution and by seeing the knowledge leveraging. So, my dear viewers, I suppose you might be clear with how to manage the knowledge. Thank you.